Okay, so Donald Trump is floating the idea of replacing income taxes with tariffs on imported goods from other countries. Tariffs are a beautiful thing. He really can't get enough of them.
To me, the most beautiful word in the dictionary is tariff, and it's my favorite word. But it's the most beautiful word in the dictionary, tariff. It will save our country. Only stupid people don't want to use it, or corrupt people also.
Let me ask you what you're thinking here. Would you want tariffs on foreign goods coming into the U.S., take those revenues and cut taxes on American goods and American families here? Would that be something in a second Trump term?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. Number one, I think we should have a ring around the collar, as they say. I think when companies come in and they dump their products in the United States, they should pay automatically, let's say, a 10% tax. That money would be used to pay off debt. It's a massive amount of money, even at 10%. It's not going to stop business because it's not that much, but it's enough that would really make a lot of money.
Okay, so we know Trump loves tariffs, and we know he wants to impose a 10% tariff on all imported goods. So all of this begs a couple of different questions. First, does Trump have the authority to make this move unilaterally? On the surface, the answer would seem to be no. Congress is the only one with authority to levy tariffs on another country. And although Trump has quite a bit of political capital and seems prepared to spend it, he would need a majority in both the House and Senate to pull this off. That said, there are circumstances when a president can act unilaterally when it comes to tariffs. And that's in the event that foreign imports threaten national security, foreign policy, or the economy. He could also do it if those imports violated trade agreements or countries engaged in unfair trade practices. So in theory, if Trump moves to levy a 10% tariff on all imports and Congress tries to block him, he could call upon one of these exceptions. So, could Trump follow through with these tariffs? Technically, there is a chance.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah!
Second, would a 10% tariff generate enough revenue to completely replace the U.S. federal income tax? The federal government brings in roughly $4.3 trillion in tax revenue every year. If Trump succeeded in levying a 10% tariff on all imported goods, that would result in around $270 billion in revenue per year. That only represents 6% of the required revenue necessary to completely replace the federal income tax. Now, that doesn't mean the math couldn't potentially pay off in a different context. Trump will likely extend the 2017 tax cuts for another 8 years, which the Nonpartisan Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget has said would explode the debt by an additional $5 trillion. To mitigate that, Trump has also floated the idea of using the revenue from a 10% blanket tariff on imports to help pay for those tax cuts. So enough to pay for the tax cuts, but not enough to replace the federal income tax, not by a long shot. Now, while I do like tax cuts and having a plan to pay for them, the question becomes, are there any downsides to Trump's proposal to levy these tariffs? Let's see what the Wall Street Journal has to say.
Did you just float out the idea of getting rid of income taxes and replacing it with tariffs?
Well, okay.
Were you serious about that?
Yeah, sure. But why not? Because ready? Our country was the richest relatively in the 1880s and 1890s. A president who was assassinated named McKinley. He was the tariff king. He spoke beautifully of tariffs. His language was really beautiful. We will not allow the enemy to come in and take our jobs and take our factories and take our workers and take our families unless they pay a big price. And the big price is tariffs. And he'd speak like that, but he was right. And then around in the early 1900s, they switched over stupidly to, frankly, an income tax. And you know why? Because countries were putting a lot of pressure on America. We don't want to pay tariffs. Please don't. You know, believe me, they control our politicians.
Okay, so Trump may or may not have the authority to levy these tariffs. They won't generate enough revenue to replace the income tax. They could generate enough revenue to pay for an extension of the Trump tax cuts for another 8 years. But this benefit comes with a whole slew of potential drawbacks for the American economy. So do I think Trump is going to be able to push through a blanket 10% tariffs on all imports? Maybe. Do I think he should? Absolutely not. Folks, you can order my USA Today best-selling book, The Guru Gap, How America's Financial Gurus Are Leading You Astray and How to Get Back on Track. on Amazon or wherever you buy fine books. Take the opportunity to order your copy today. By the way, in the next 10 years, I'm looking to put 1 million Americans on the road to the 0% tax bracket. If you would like some help implementing a balanced, comprehensive approach to tax-free retirement that shields you from the impact of higher taxes down the road, head on over to davemcknight.com and click on the Connect with an Advisor button. I'm happy to refer you to an advisor in the Power Zero network that has been trained, vetted, and qualified personally by me. If you're a financial professional and want to learn how to become a certified Power Zero advisor, head over to powerzero.com and opt into my free video series. And if you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop them into the comment section below. I'll respond to every single one of them personally. And don't forget to click like, subscribe, and the bell so you never miss a video. This is David McKnight. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.